you've got a guy, he's been coming to work 6 months. He's never been late, right? And I've seen this firsthand, so I know this happens, but comes to work 6 months, never late, right? He's late one day, his boss meets with him, chews his ass out, just like rips him a new one, basically tells the guy like, hey, you can't show up on time, you don't show up at all, you understand? And so what happens in this scenario, right? What's the realistic thing? Right. He was going through a divorce, and then he had just found out he was diagnosed with cancer. His head was all over the place. Now what the guy realized after he had that conversation with his boss, and he got chewed out because he was late for the first time in 6 months at this new company, immediately he made up in his head, I'm looking for a new job. I've seen this firsthand where
absolutely
you have great people that come in, one thing happens, it doesn't have to be that example, but whatever, and then the person in charge assumes a conclusion and kind of pushes that onto that person, and immediately
puts a thought in their head they never had before until that moment.
And in that moment, they've made their decision, because here's the other thing too, they're not going to find that job immediately.
No.
They're going to look for a few months. And while they're working for you for that few months, do you think they're going to give their best effort?
They're mailing it in from that point on.
And so it is so critical that you have that you're peeking at what's the conversation they're having in their head, and what's a good way to find out what it is? Ask questions.
Ask questions.
Yeah,
absolutely. It just comes down to good leadership, and good leadership is the ability to empathize and to communicate. Not that I think sometimes when people hear you say we got to be empathetic, got to ask questions, you got to join the conversation. Well, you just wanting to give everybody an excuse to no. There's a standard. But the thing is, I want them to buy into the standard.
Yeah.
I want them to see it's not just my standard. I want you to adopt it as a standard. Because if you do and you perform on this, you're going to be better for it. And I'm going to build some sort of mechanism, some sort of business model that you're going to be rewarded for buying in and executing on that standard.